love my life and my point of view. My time with me and my time with you. I love my life. I'm proud to state the best is coming and I just can't wait. The best is coming and I just can't wait. I love my life. It's the life I chose. My spiritual awakening is grows and grows. I love my life. I'll tell you straight. The best is coming and I just can't wait. The best is coming and I just can't wait. I just can't wait. Yeah.
Woo-hoo. Oh, what a perfect song. Thank you, beloveds. Woo! Hello. Oh, look, there's more people here. Hi, welcome. Oh, I see new faces and familiar faces from before. Welcome, welcome home. And welcome home to me. It's so good to be home. Yay! Oh my goodness, life is good. Wow. I have so much to say. Oh boy. So they say that we attract what we fear. So, oh my God, I'm so scared of $15 billion. Come on. That's a tough crowd. So friends, well, for those of you who are new here, and for those of you who don't follow me on Facebook, I know there's quite a few of you, I had an elective foot surgery on October 3rd. Everything's fine, and it was my choice. And so for that whole week, I was pretty much laid up, right? I was couched or on the bench, as they say. And I learned a lot about myself. So that's going to be, a whole month of sermons down the road. They tell you in ministerial school not to talk about it when you're still in it. So that first week was very intense, and then the second week was just last week, and I'm slowly getting better. So last week I got this boot, and I'll show you Zoomers in case you haven't seen it, a boot. And I was very, very fortunate and so blessed to have so many beautiful souls caring for me and loving me. And of course, one of those, the main one, was my husband, Travis. Thank you, honey. Love you. And then we had Mama Jody, my mother-in-law, who came over during the day when Travis was at work. And then my mom, Mama Linda. I'm just so grateful. And during that first week, Reverend Diane dropped off some flowers at my doorstep and signed it from the Awakening Ways spiritual community. And I just felt the love. I felt that love, and in my heart was so happy to be here and to be in this community. We are so loved, and we care for each other and are here for each other. So just take a look around right now. This is your family. Look around at each other and feel and know that we're here for each other, even if you don't know the person sitting next to you very well or the person behind you. Know that you will be cared for because you are here and you are a part of this beautiful family. I even had a phone call from Linda, who was coming to Costco and Slow, and offered me some assistance. That's as far as I'm going with that. I just felt the love. There was so much love, And to feel that and to experience that is community. And so thank you for being in this community. I love you. Yeah. And you too, Zoomers. Thank you. Yay. All right. So this month we began with an awareness. Oh, actually, I have to also say that when Travis took me to my first doctor's appointment last week, my first post-op appointment, and I There's some activity happening back there that, anyway, I got the boot home, and the first thing that occurred to me was a song, and I started singing, "I'm Too Sexy for My Boot." And it occurred to me that, oh yeah, there's 3 things that are taboo for ministers to talk about from the pulpit: sex, money, and the other one is the P word that shall not be named. And so we're talking about money this week, and really this month, you know. And so we started the month on October 3rd, or whenever it was, October 2nd, and I was talking about beginning with the awareness of the infinite source from which all flows, and remembering that God is the source of our supply, not the bank, not the EDD, not the Social Security Administration. Ultimately, Spirit is the source of our supply, and so if we can connect to that source and be present with it and know that we are it, that it is forever with us, that we can never be separate, then we begin to feel and experience the true nature of our being, which is abundance, love, wholeness, perfection, all the good we could imagine, right? And so that Sunday, we also gave ourselves an abundance name. And the call to action was for us to use that name in referring to ourselves throughout the month. Now, if you weren't here for that, I think we still have some forms that you can pick up. Do we still have those after the service? Yes. And it was basically you pick an abundance word, a spirit word, and then you add your name. And then you say those 3 together. And we did this whole thing introducing ourselves to each other as our abundance name. But the whole idea of that was to really get to know ourselves as abundant beings of love. And then last week, Susan was the speaker. Thank you, Susan. How was she? Wonderful, right? Yes, of course. She reminded us all that there is a consciousness of healing, a consciousness of wholeness, happiness, and well-being, a consciousness of love and friendship, unity, security, and peace, which we all feel and know and understand because it belongs to each one of us and everyone. And it was a great reminder that this ministry is, in fact, divinely supported. And so I'm so grateful for all the good that this community brings into the world, that this ministry that is divinely supported is doing great work in each one of our lives and in the lives of all of those who we touch. The people that we speak to, our friends who we bring with us, and our family, even the gas station attendant and the Starbucks barista, right? Everyone is touched by it, and it continues to ripple out into the world. All of this good just by us being here and being a stand for love and remembering who we are. So beautiful. So I'm grateful for the awakenings, the transformations, and healings that occur within this community. It's such a gift. And I'm also grateful for this chair that is right here because I'm going to sit down. I'm ready to sit, if you don't mind. So out of character for me, right? Hey. Yeah, how's that? Okay, thank you, Gina. All right, beloved, so... can't reach my book. So our book of the month this month is called It's Not Your Money. Thank you, love. It's called It's Not Your Money by Tasha Silver. Have you all heard of this book? Oh, it's a powerful, powerful book. And there are some available for sale at the desk back there. But in this book, Tosha guides us through a powerful shift in consciousness about money. She reminds us that we have this wonderful opportunity to be abundance rather than chase abundance. And so, you know, as human beings, it's part of our instinct to survive, right? We are hardwired for that. It's just the way it is. And so being in that state of survival, we can get stuck in this mode of just needing to survive. And when we're in that mode, we are kind of in a place of feeling like we don't have enough. Has anyone here ever thought, I'm not good enough? Or, right, I'm not enough, or some variation of that. That is traced back to that mode of survival and this idea that there is something lacking. But I am here to tell you, and wow, I'm really enjoying sitting down here. I can see you eye to eye. This is cool. I'm here to tell you, Wayne, that you are enough. You are more than enough. You are all that in a bag of chips with the cherry on top. Cheetos are his favorite. Yeah. And you too, right? And so this book really helps us with that subtle shift. I highly recommend it. So it takes a shift in our thinking to move from that mode of being in survival, which is what we know, it's inherent, right, into a state of thriving and really being present to the fact that we're thriving. We are thriving. All of us who are here today, we are thriving. And the Zoomers, you are thriving. Just say that, I am thriving. Say it again, I am thriving. Doesn't that feel good? Wow. I feel like I'm thriving because I'm here with you this morning and not just sitting on my couch looking out the window watching chick flicks, although that was so fun. I felt like I was thriving at that time also. But anyway, in page 16 of this book is our secret sauce for the month. It's our superpower, and it's called the Change Me Prayer. So I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and, just get comfortable and tune into these powerful words. You might even say them to yourself silently in your own mind. Divine Beloved, allow me to give with complete ease and abundance, knowing that you are the unlimited source of all. Let me be an easy, open conduit for your prosperity. Let me trust that all of my needs are always met in amazing ways, and that it's safe to give freely as my heart guides me. And equally, let me feel wildly open to receiving. May I know my own value, beauty, and worthiness without question. Let me allow others the supreme pleasure of giving to me. May I feel worthy to receive in every possible way. Change me into one who can fully love, forgive, and accept myself, so I may carry your light without restriction. Let everything that needs to go, go. Let everything that needs to come, come. I am utterly your own. You are me. I am you. We are one. All is well. And so it is. Oh, yeah. Friends, there's going to be a homework assignment, which will be to write this down. Write this in your journal, on a piece of paper, whatever, and tape it to your refrigerator or to your bathroom mirror, and speak these words aloud throughout the day. And notice that if any part of that, if any part of that prayer landed in a funny way, know that that's going to rearrange you. this week. That's going to be something that works you and opens you in a way that you have not been opened before. And it's going to be really good. So we will send out this prayer in our e-news tomorrow or Tuesday so that you have that and you can write it. Something happens for me when I write things down. There's like a kinetic experience. It's like I can hear it, but if I write it, I start to absorb what I'm reading and hearing. And so that'll be the call. So you want to speak these words aloud throughout the day. Now, another thing that I read in this book, which I loved, and this is the last thing about this, is that the writer's mom used to say this when she was growing up. She would say, "Don't be a schnorrer." In Yiddish, a schnorrer is someone who wants only to take and never give. Schnorrers live outside of the circle of abundance, hoping that if they grab enough, they might feel safe. But it never works because they can never fully grasp enough. And then we're going to make a shift for 2 words in our vocabulary today. Those 2 words are broke and cheap. Now, broke is shifted very easily. Has anyone ever said that? I'm broke, you're broke, right? We're going to obliterate. That's dissolving right now back into the nothingness from whence it came. And we are going to shift that by stating temporarily financially challenged. You may be temporarily financially challenged, but you are not broke. You are not broken, and you never have been, and you never will be. You are perfect exactly as you are. And then being cheap is another one that when we say we're cheap or that's cheap or whatever, that word cheap is saying, no, I will not be a conduit for abundance. I won't spend and I won't give. And as we do that, we become stagnant. We become stagnant, right? So think of circulation. If you inhale but don't exhale, what happens? Stagnation, right? Ultimate stagnation. If you exhale but don't inhale, stagnation. Ultimate stagnation. That's a new saying. Ultimate stagnation. It's that giving and receiving. Breathe with me. 2 more times. And last time. Inhale, exhale, give, receive. As we do this, we get into the flow. So we have to want to be a part of the flow in order to experience the abundance that we know we are. We have to want to be a part of that flow. It's a conscious choice, and not just financially, but in every way, yes? So the call to action in that sense is give some things away. Do you have some things that are sitting around that you're no longer using, but you're holding on to because you think you might need them someday? Who doesn't, right? Give them away and know that if you need that thing again, it will come into your life. There is no lack. Spirit is the source of your supply. You always have everything you need and more. Maybe you pay for a friend's meal sometime this week. Maybe you buy a cup of coffee for the person behind you at Starbucks or wherever you go for your coffee. Where do you go for the coffee shops around here?
My house.
Your house. We'll be there after the service. Oh, cool. Well, all right. You get the idea. Pay for someone's bridge toll. Yeah, there are no bridges around here, but you may find yourself on a bridge somewhere. Yes. And you'll remember these words and pay for the $5-6, right? Something happens, and so there is something that you get to experience with the giving, and there's something that the receiver gets to experience with the receiving. And so I've been a giver and a receiver for bridge tolls, and it felt so good to surprise someone and to know that they were going to be affected by this, and they don't know me, and it was just like so cool, this anonymous, giddy feeling of giving, being in the flow, right? And then receiving, being on the receiving side, I was like, oh, this is one of my friends up there that just paid for me. How cool is that, you know? I wonder who they are, where they're going, what's going on. And it just created this beautiful, giddy, good feeling. So give some things away, pay for a friend's meal, buy a cup of coffee for the person behind you, or put a little more money in the basket today when it comes around. Yes, I just said that. So years ago, I want to share with you that I attended a workshop by the owners of Cafe Gratitude, and the workshop was called the Abounding River Workshop. Now, the Abounding River game is that game where I got the log sheets from the first Sunday in October. And I was so excited to attend this workshop, and there were probably 50 people in this workshop. And it was a 2-day thing. At the end of the first day, we played this amazing game of being in the flow. Now, everyone at the end of the day was asked to take a bill that they had, in the form of money, not like a bill that you owe. Like a $1 bill, a $5 bill, a $10 bill, or whatever. And then we were to get in a circle, and when they told us go, we were supposed to exchange our bill with as many people as possible, and we would have 3 minutes. So we were practicing giving, receiving consistently, right? And they said that doesn't matter what you bring, what bill it is, 1, 5, 10, 20, whatever. You may end up with less than you came in with, and you may end up with more. And this sounded so fun, right? And so all I had was a $1 bill, and so I was kind of embarrassed, and I think I had like another $1. So I came in with $2 and got into the circle, and then we got close, and we were giving, and I mean, there were hands everywhere. We were so close and trying to just give, receive, and get that money out of our hands, and it felt so good to have that circulation, and I think a big part of that was non-attachment. And it was letting go of survival mode, right? That feeling that I'm not going to get my $2 back, or I'm not going to have what I need, or my hand is going to come up empty. None of that happened. It was just a constant exchange. And being in that circulation, it was fast moving, and there was a lightness that I experienced in that. And I realized it's that same lightness and giddiness of the feeling of freedom and that feeling of being in the flow. We're not going to do this today, don't worry. Maybe another day. But at the end of this game, I had a $100 bill. And I thought that was so cool. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So the lightness and the giddiness and that pure bliss of being in the flow was so powerful. But I wasn't even thinking about, maybe I'll have more. So it's also a very good learning experience for ourselves, right? Because if you end up leaving with a larger amount, do you feel guilty? Do you feel, there's just so much, right? We have been conditioned so much around money. And so we're really looking at this month what that conditioning is and opening ourselves to be receptive and to give from the overflow, which is so good because we get in the flow of giving, receiving. Think of it like inhale, exhale. And remember that you can't outgive God. You can't. You can't. Spirit is the source of our supply. Spirit is the source of my supply. Say that to yourself. Spirit is the source of my supply. One more time. Spirit is the source of my supply. Doesn't that liberate you? Yeah. It's funny how the truth liberates us, isn't it? Funny, not funny, haha, but funny good. So I want to share a story that I heard about a New Thought speaker and author named Mary Morrissey. You may have heard of her. But she shared a story of going to hear Ray Charles Barker speak. And he was in his 70s, elegantly dressed with a head of white hair. And at this seminar, he pulled out several $100 bills from his wallet. And he spread those $100 bills out so that everyone could see them. And then he said, This is money. I love money. And then he proceeded to kiss the money. I love my money. Now, Mary Morrissey was horrified. She thought, this is not spiritual. Have you ever thought that? Oh, that's so not spiritual. Not spiritual. And then Raymond said, if you had any thought of revulsion, repulsion, or judgment about money, money heard you. Oh, got the God bumps. It heard you. Why would money go where it is not loved? Why would you not love a symbol of your freedom? Imagine if I had a little boy here and I held him up and said, this is my grandson. I love my grandson, and proceeded to kiss him. If you thought anything differently about me loving money and me loving my grandson, you were programmed that it's not okay to love money. I love that. So powerful. So I want to share a little story about giving and one of my experiences with giving, because we can actually practice tithing and giving as an act of faith to overcome our fear. Now, that's fear of losing money, fear of not having enough money, or fear of not being enough, and so on. And remembering that we're not practicing this tool of giving so that we can actually get more. Don't confuse yourselves. We are practicing to know God on a deeper level, to actually cultivate our faith and trust in the thing itself, which in our teaching includes love and law as the one who walks through all feet, each one of us. And so tithing is a spiritual practice that works, and you can try it for yourself if you're not already doing so. And you want to also be sure to tithe where you are spiritually fed, right? And also be sure to tithe to yourself. So tithing is like 10%. Back in the day, it was like somewhere between 10 and 22%. 22%, that's outrageous. Or the best of your flock back in the day. The best of my flock? How about just part of my flock, right? Anyway, it's up to you whether you choose to use this spiritual principle, this spiritual practice in your life or not. You just have to choose to use it consciously, and you can choose any amount that you desire. Now, the point is, it is each one of our own individual experiences, right? So it has to be about you and your relationship with the God of your understanding. It's not about you and my relationship of the God of my understanding. It's about you. Any spiritual practice is about you and in improving and understanding the spiritual laws and your relationship with the God of your understanding. Are you with me? All right. So the principle is there. You can use it. Many people are using it effectively. Now, the story I want to share is that in 2015, I took a year off of ministry, and I wasn't giving at all. I was actually working avidly to pay back some debt that I had incurred from some bad choices. Can anyone relate to that? Yeah, right. Bad choices I had previously made due to poor stewardship of my money. Now, what happened for me is I was often feeling worried about how I was going to make ends meet. It seemed like the bills were adding up on top of each other, and I couldn't stop thinking about and just worrying about the compounding items in my mind. How is it going to get paid? I don't see how it's going to happen, and what's going to become of me? Survival mode, right? How will I survive? So I could feel myself constricting inside from fear, doubt, and worry. And then one day it occurred to me that I had stopped tithing. So I started giving 5%, and I immediately noticed a shift in my thinking. The shift in my thinking was that I went from the autopilot, reactive thoughts of fear, doubt, and worry. Oh my, fear, doubt, and worry. Oh my, how am I going to pay this? There's another one coming. How am I going to pay that? What's going to happen to me, etc. And I shifted that thinking to, okay, God, I am now giving money. I am practicing principle here, and it's making me very uncomfortable. Can anyone relate to that? It's making me very uncomfortable. I wasn't sure how to make my ends meet before, and now I'm really not sure how I'm going to do it because now I'm consciously giving. So, God, I'm letting go of the how and turning it over to you, God. I'm putting my faith and trust in you. If Spirit is the source of my supply, which is you, God, then do your thing. Make it so. I trust you. It's up to you now. And then, of course, being the funny being I am, has anyone seen Jerry Maguire, Cuba Gooding Jr.? Show me the money. That's what I was saying. Show me the money. Yes, I have a fun relationship with Spirit. So I was saying, yeah, God, show me the money, right? I'm putting my faith and trust in you. And suddenly, I started booking clients out of the blue, spiritual coaching clients, just like that. I must have made $3,000 in extra income over the course of about 2.5 months. New opportunities were coming up daily, out of nowhere, without any extra effort. I didn't have to pay extra to advertise more or to get my word out more. I wasn't doing anything more than before as far as paying to advertise or otherwise. It just started showing up, knocking at my door. I was in the flow, right? I was giving. And this is what happens when we use principle. It flows through our so-called problems and out into form. So the best way to think of this is thinking of a water hose. Sometimes we need to unkink the water hose, right? So we unkink that hose in our consciousness by loosening our grip, our mental grip of fear, doubt, and worry. So by cultivating and strengthening our faith and trust in the abundance of the universe, our good begins to flow through that hose with a power and force to be reckoned with. In the past, I thought I had to give, like it was a requirement. This is a long time ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago when I first became a licensed practitioner. I didn't understand it, and it created resentful feelings in me, like it's a requirement for me to give. And at one point, I treated my giving like it was a bill that needed to be paid, you know? I wasn't into the sending my love and blessing out. It was just like, oh, there's another bill. I've got that. Now what, you know? But that's the shift again, right? Moving from that feeling and that thought into a feeling of I'm giving from the overflow, and I'm putting my faith and trust in Spirit, and knowing that I am getting into this circulation, this dance of abundance where all of my needs are met. And it's that liberating feeling of knowing I'm thriving. Even if I'm not thriving in the moment, I'm about to. Yeah. So I've stepped into that. So if you're practicing either of those, feeling like you have to give because it's a spiritual requirement, your teacher told you to, or your pastor years ago when you were a kid or whatever, right? if you're thinking any of those, you've got to let go of that. And if you're treating it like a bill that has to be paid, we want to dissolve that from our awareness right now. Now, I want to also say that whether you're giving $5 or $500 is up to you and your relationship with the God of your understanding. It's really more about developing a pattern and a rhythm to your giving so that you're in a constant, conscious flow of abundance, right? You're in the flow. You're not hoarding. You're not holding on. You're not creating a stagnation in your life. So you get to choose the amount, that you're giving. But do it consciously. Just like going to the gym. If you go to the gym once and work out, what, you think you're done? You want to keep going to build your muscles. You want to keep going to create that great energy in you. You want to keep going to have that mental, that goodness that you feel after you do a great workout or a great walk. Yes? It's a pattern and a rhythm that you're developing. And then you increase it a little bit at a time. So if you go to the gym and you lift 3-pound weights, you're not going to be lifting 3-pound weights forever. You just wouldn't even have any resistance in your body. You're going to move up to 5-pound weights, and then you'll move up to maybe 7, and then 10, and 15, and then pretty soon you're at 20, 25, and you're going, wow, how did I manage that? I used to only be able to lift the 3-pounders. We're doing the same with our giving. And so today, I increased my giving for today by 10%. And that's your call to action. And so, in other words, I have a check for $150, and I increased it by 10% just for today. So I increased it to $165. And I invite you to all do the same. Whatever you were planning to give or were going to give, increase that for today by 10%. That's a big ask, isn't it? I can't believe I just asked you to do that. What do you think? Are you with me? Yeah. All right. So remember that we're building on this foundation that we have each time. Build on that foundation and see how it feels. Does it make you a little uncomfortable? Just like when you go to the gym, does that extra weight make you feel a little uncomfortable? Yes. That's your growth that's happening. That little bit of discomfort is your growth. All right, so flex your faith in the abundance of the universe and increase that giving a little bit. Now, whether you're increasing that giving here or increasing maybe it's increasing the giving that you participate in your relationships, at your job, at the store, with your friends, whatever that is. See if you can just turn up the volume on that a little bit this week and be in that space of giving. And then be ready to receive, because you want to be open to receiving too. Many people have a problem with receiving, like they can give until the cows come home. But then when someone offers them something, oh, no, thank you. I don't need that. Nope. Right? That's going to be your next practice. Being a receiver. All right. So remember, friends, there's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it because it's within you. You are it. So I'm going to invite the musicians to come up and prepare for the closing song while I wrap it up for us today. All right. So in conclusion, my friends, the Change Me prayer, page 16 of It's Not Your Money by Tasha Silver, this is our superpower for this month. And I invite you to use that. Write it down in your journal, write it on a piece of paper, fold that paper up, carry it in your wallet, or maybe if you're more of a tech person, you can just copy it and paste it into your notepad and then pull that up, make time, and read that. Speak the words aloud throughout the day. Second is don't be a schnorrer. A schnorrer is Yiddish for someone who wants to only take and never give. Get in the flow this week. Give some things away. Pay for a friend's meal. Buy a cup of coffee for the person behind you or in front of you. Wait, that wouldn't work. Behind you or behind them. Put a little more in the basket today if you're able to, and be prepared to receive. You're also going to remove the words broke and cheap from your vocabulary, remembering that there's no such thing as cheap. There's no such thing as broke. There's only temporarily financially challenged. No such thing as cheap. You're only in the flow of abundance or out of it. Get in the flow. You can't outgive God. And consciousness creates. So if you haven't already done so, develop a pattern and a rhythm for your financial giving and stick to it, increasing it monthly, quarterly, or annually. And ask yourself this question: how will I begin to expand my expectancy of good this week? So money is neither good nor bad, but not something evil, not something to be worshipped either. It's for us to be aligned with the nature of the universe, which is always flowing, always as plenty. So when we bring our curiosity, everyday wonder to money, we remember it's a tool of divine expression in our lives. It's not a taboo topic. We just talked about it today. The taboo no longer exists. I wasn't kidding about that. People would rather tell me as the minister about their sex life than their checking account balance. Yeah, up until now, right? So we don't need to hide or flaunt our money. We just be with it and our feelings about it. It's our time to shine, so let's shine. Let's take a deep breath together. And join me in turning your attention inward in this moment. And it is as if we're turning inward to this great and vast garden of goodness that is eternal. And it is this space where I remember that Spirit is all that there is. It is all that there ever was, and it is all that there ever will be. And I'm so grateful in this moment to know that I am connected with Spirit because it lives within me. And I know this is true for each one of us. It is the thing that has birthed me and each one of us into existence. We are here at this time on this planet with a divine purpose. And we have been granted some tools to allow us to be in the flow of our good, to be in the expression of freedom and liberation. And I know and claim that for each one of us right here and right now, we say yes to being in the flow. We say yes to this liberation and freedom. And we have moved from survival to thrival. And in this mode of thriving, there is plenty to go around. All of my needs are met and more. We remember, each one of us, that Spirit is the source of our supply. And what we are required to do is enhance our relationship with it. However that looks, it's going to be different for everyone. And so in enhancing the relationship with the God of our understanding through prayer, meditation, classes, spiritual education, whether it's reading the book of the month or the Science of Mind magazine or the mental equivalent by Emmett Fox, or whether it is fellowshipping, getting into sacred service. There are plenty of opportunities for sacred service in this community. We practice and get to know the presence that is here, that lives within each one of us. Courting the divine and allowing it to woo us and allowing ourselves to be wooed by this beautiful presence. God is so good, and I am so grateful for all of this and so much more. I give thanks for this prayer. I give thanks for knowing that as we go out from here, we experience a magnificent day. It's the best day ever. and lives are touched by each one of us simply because of who we are. So thank you, Spirit. What a glorious day. I release this prayer now, knowing it is so. I take my hands off of it and allow it to be, and so it is.
Yes.
Thank you.